Good evening. I get the opportunity to tell you about a man who has been the athletic trainer, one of the athletic trainers at Fresno State, aka California State University, Fresno, for 29 years and will retire at the end of this year. Before that, he was an athletic trainer at West Valley College. He was educated at San Jose State. He also went to BBC. He had mentors such as Hall of Famer Don Chu, NATA Hall of Famer Lindsey McLean, professional colleague FWATA Hall of Famer Paul Schechter. He served in the Pan American Games, the Olympics. He's done medical missions to places such as Mexico. He's worked with charities and foundations. As far as our association, he served in multiple positions, but recently as the California Athletic Trainers Association Region 3 Director. Prior to that, years ago, he was the District Secretary for District 8. He developed the first NATA approved, that's what we called it back then, athletic training education program at Fresno State. Our students benefit from his guidance as an excellent clinician. He's a challenge. He challenges them as a clinical instructor. He's a challenge also. He's a mentor. I first met Ed Ferreira between my junior and senior years in high school when I went up to Chico, California for a Kramer sports medicine camp, or Kramer athletic training camp that he was hosting with Fran Babich and Tom Little. As a student, he inspired me to get involved in association business because he was the district secretary, and back in those days we mailed every member newsletters and election ballots. And that's what students do, is stuff envelopes. So get involved. On a serious note, I consider him my teacher, a mentor, a colleague, and a dear, dear friend. Would you please help me in honoring this gentleman, athletic trainer, Mr. Ed Ferreira, for most distinguished athletic trainer.
Thank you, Scott. I got to make this quick. They said I only had 30 minutes. I'm not one for public speaking. At my table, we talk about generation. I've got a 40-year-old former associate. When I was a student at San Jose State, my senior year, we were giving students that came into the program to mentor them, and that's Dan Brady, and he followed me around. And then I go to 30 years out, and I'm looking at people like Fran Babich, and then I got Scott Saylor, 20 years out, and I have Jason McCamey, who's at my table, who's 10 years out. Time flies.
We're 0 years out.
I want to thank the Awards and Honors Committee for this recognition. I thank my peers. I thank Scott for this nomination. Check is in the mail on Monday, Scott. Yeah. Like Hazel and Mike, I'm truly blessed to have the job that I do. The older we get, the more emotional I get, I think. My bladder backs up, the posture. So the tear ducts come out. I needed that. You know, I love the job that I do, and 37 years has just flown, with the 8 years at West Valley, the 29 at Fresno State. And that's definitely not possible without the love and support of my family. And you just don't realize how fast the time goes. It's not about wins and losses, it's about the people. The people from the student, athletic training students, how's that for an old timer, trying to get that straight. The athletic training students, the athletes, your associates, the coaches, the administrators, because we're constantly educating them as to what we do. When I started, there really was not an athletic trainer to be had in high school or community colleges. And I wouldn't be where I am today had it not been for Lindsay McLean kicking me in the rear end. And I would like to share this story a little bit, because where I am today is because of Lindsay. I was a so-called wannabe athlete wrestler, and I was at DVC. I was recruited to come out because at that time I was like 115 pounds, and the coach says, hey, you're in great shape, you get lots of forfeits, you can help the team. I'm a team guy. I was going to be a physical education major, I wanted to coach, and so I think I saw more lights and stars on the ceilings than Rembrandt probably did. 4 of the top 10 wrestlers in the state happened to be in our conference, and that year we wrestled everybody twice, so you can imagine what my life expectancy was. We went down to San Jose State to wrestle the freshman team, and we talk about professional dress. A friend of mine goes down, and this guy comes up in white shoes, white pants, white shirt, and an NATA patch. Takes care of my buddy, takes him off the mat. And after I got finished, I went down to go see how my teammate was, and that's where I met Lindsay. And we just started talking. I'm going, what do you do? What's it like? And about an hour later, he asked what I was going to do, and I said, well, I've applied to 3 schools, and one of those happened to be San Jose State to be a physical education major. He offered me a work-study scholarship to be a student trainer. It was student trainers and athletic training students. And things happen for a reason. Doors open. And I've always believed that. That you live right, things happen right. And so I took that opportunity for, I think it was $700 a year, $70 a month. Folks, tuition was $33 a semester. Okay. Went through that first year, and Lindsay at the end of the year says, I really don't think this is for you. I think maybe you should make room for somebody else to come on by, and because I just don't think you're serious enough. And that pissed me off, and I decided to prove that wrong. And unfortunately, Lindsay moved on to Michigan at that time, and Jim Welsh took over, and I stayed on. A year and a half later, I get this offer from West Valley College, who has a vision of a new campus with an athletic administration, had a vision of wanting an athletic trainer as part of their staff. And so they offered me a position, and I got cold feet. And I said I needed to finish my education. About 2 months later, they offered me another position again. The price went up a little bit. I got cold feet. And finally, what it took, and I tell this to my students, don't be afraid to fail. And Jim Welsh turns around and says, you know what, I don't have a position here for you anymore. You need to move on. You got what you got. The best thing you're going to get now is through experience. And I took that, and it was awesome. I get to be able to be a pioneer at that school and develop it. Was there for 8 years, offered their first athletic training education class, adaptive physical education programs. I developed cardiac rehab programs, both in a weight room and a pool. And I developed at that point a workshop. And it was like a day and a half workshop. I needed to educate the coaches in the San Jose area, which is the Santa Clara Sports Medicine Society. I don't know if that's still in existence or not. But I started to put a workshop on for education of those people. And I ran that for 4 years. And what money I made off of that, I took our athletic training students to the conventions. I started sending kids, my students, to Fresno and San Jose State and Hayward. And the next thing I know, Paul Schechter asked me if I'd like to come to Fresno. It seems like I never had to apply for a job. And again, I just think that when you're blessed and you live right and you do the things that you love with passion, things will always work out. I just want to thank everybody for this recognition and this opportunity. And God bless you all.
Did you get that? Yes.